It is 3:17 in the morning. You know this because you just checked your phone, which you told yourself you wouldn't do. You have been awake for 43 minutes. You have a meeting at 9. You are now doing the math on how many hours you can still get if you fall asleep in the next 10 minutes, which is making it impossible to fall asleep in the next 10 minutes. And underneath all of this, quieter than the math, is a specific kind of dread, the suspicion that this is just who you are now, someone who cannot sleep. Here is what no one told you. That moment, 3 in the morning, awake, running the math, watching the ceiling, is not a symptom of a broken nervous system. It is a symptom of a broken environment. And the distance between those two diagnoses is the distance between a problem you cannot solve and one you already have the answer to. In 2015, a researcher named Jerome Siegel at UCLA published a study in the journal Current Biology that should have rewritten the story of human sleep entirely. Siegel and his team spent months living alongside 3 of the last pre-industrial societies on Earth: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Samane of Bolivia. No electric light, no alarm clocks, no melatonin gummies, no recommended sleep windows, no wellness podcasts. They measured everything. When people fell asleep, when they woke, how long they slept, what triggered the transitions. They expected to find long, deep, restorative sleep, the kind we're told we've lost. What they found was stranger. The Hadza, San, and Samane slept an average of 6.4 hours per night. Not 8. Not even close to 8. 6.4. They fell asleep approximately 3.3 hours after sunset and woke before sunrise, and across all 3 societies, on 3 separate continents, among hundreds of observed individuals, there was no insomnia, not reduced insomnia, not mild insomnia, none. The researchers found no equivalent term for the condition in any of the 3 languages. The thing that is quietly dismantling the lives of tens of millions of Americans every night does not exist in the vocabulary of people who have never been removed from the environment their bodies were built for. But here's where it gets strange. It was not the darkness that put them to sleep. Siegel's team expected to find that sleep onset was triggered by the absence of light, the same mechanism behind every piece of advice you've ever been given about blue light and screen time. What they actually found was that the primary trigger was temperature. Specifically, the drop in ambient temperature that occurs naturally in the hours after sunset. As the air cooled, the body followed. Core temperature fell, melatonin rose, sleep arrived, not because of a decision, not because of a routine, but because a physical signal in the environment matched a physical receptor in the body. A conversation that has been happening between humans and the night sky for 300,000 years. Your thermostat is set to 72 degrees right now. It was 72 degrees at noon. It will be 72 degrees at 6 in the morning. The signal never comes. Your body waits for a cue that never arrives, then blames itself for the confusion. And that's only half the story, because it was not just the duration of ancient sleep that was different. It was the architecture. Roger Ekirch is a historian at Virginia Tech who spent 16 years searching pre-industrial archives across Europe and found something that had been hiding in plain sight for generations. In diaries, court documents, medical texts, and literature stretching back centuries, he found over 500 distinct references to a sleep pattern that no one in the modern world talks about. People called it first sleep and second sleep. The pattern was consistent. Go to bed shortly after dark, sleep for 3 to 4 hours, then wake naturally for a period of 1 to 2 quiet hours. During that waking period, people talked to their partners, prayed, reviewed their dreams, had sex, thought through problems, sometimes rose briefly and returned. Then a second sleep of 3 to 4 hours until dawn. This was not documented as a disorder. It was not treated. It was described as unremarkably as eating a meal, the default architecture of human nights for centuries, so ordinary it barely warranted comment. Then gaslighting arrived in European cities in the early 1800s, followed by electric light, and the long continuous 8-hour block was standardized as the only acceptable pattern. The quiet waking period in the middle of the night, the one that had structured human sleep for millennia, was reclassified. Doctors gave it a clinical name. They called it sleep maintenance. Insomnia. The thing your body is doing on purpose became evidence that your body is broken. To be fair, not everything modern sleep science got wrong. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, developed over the last 30 years, outperforms sleeping medication in nearly every long-term clinical study. We understand melatonin, cortisol cycles, and the role of adenosine in ways that give us real tools. The problem was never the science. The problem was the baseline. The assumption that 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep in a climate-controlled room is the standard your body was designed to meet. It is a standard that was invented approximately 150 years ago. The body it was invented for is 300,000 years old. What Siegel's study revealed and what Ekirch's archives confirmed is that the modern sleep crisis is not primarily a crisis of broken circadian biology. It is a crisis of environmental mismatch. Your nervous system is running a program written across hundreds of thousands of years of human nights. That program expects a temperature drop at dusk. It expects a natural waking period in the middle of the night, not as a failure, but as a feature, a window for memory consolidation and emotional processing, that the first sleep cycle primes and the second sleep cycle completes. It expects to wake before artificial light overrides the signals that sunrise was always meant to carry. It does not expect a screen 3 inches from its face at 11 in the evening. It does not expect a heating system that removes every thermal marker that darkness has arrived. And it absolutely does not expect you to lie awake calculating sleep debt and spiraling about tomorrow's performance review. The anxiety about sleep is the newest layer. The waking itself is ancient. Tonight, when you surface at 3 in the morning, your body has completed something. Not failed at something, completed something. The first architecture of sleep, the one your ancestors ran without question for thousands of years, has done its part. What happens next? The checking of the phone, the math, the dread. That is not biology. That is a story you learned in a world built for a continuous 8-hour block that your body never agreed to. The Hadza elder who woke in the dark and sat quietly and looked at the stars and then returned to sleep was not broken. He was doing exactly what human nights were designed for. You are him. The only thing that changed is the ceiling you are staring at, and the phone that tells you it is 3:17 and you are behind.